first things first, Taylor. What I would do is go into the assignment. Then when you're in the assignment, you can actually right click where it says assignment 2, the name of it, and then, or no, not right click, you can left click it, and then save it. So save it somewhere easy to find, like to your desktop, or if you have a folder for homework. For me, I'll just save it to the desktop for now, and hit save. And then you can open it. It should show up right here on the bottom of your browser. If it doesn't, you can go to your desktop and find it. So you can click here to open it, or it's called assignment 2. So there it is. And then open it in Word, because he said you can submit things in Word. Now you have to enable editing to edit something that has the protected view. And then all of the directions, you can delete them. And then you have the format the way that he wants it. And it says assignment 2 references as the heading. You'll notice his name is as the footer, so you click on it. Don't change the page number, because it's good that page numbers are there, but you can change the name from his name to your name. Like that. And then I would file, save as, and save it as, we'll still keep it in the desktop or wherever you want to keep it, but save it as the name of the file that he has, but add your last name to it so that when he's looking for it later, he has an easy time finding it. And you can also change the author, because right now it says he's the author and now you're the author. So you can remove his name if you want, or just add your name. And then save. So now you have your file saved. And you're stuck in the, if you get stuck in the header footer area, you know you can't click anywhere else, you can either double click over here, or if you're stuck you can close header footer. Either way, it moves you back into it. Now obviously you can't use his references for your paper, so you can delete all of these. I would save the first one because it is formatted the way it's supposed to be formatted for a reference page. But in case you didn't remember this, the way that you format a works reference page, this is called a hanging indent. And you do that by highlighting it and then going up to paragraph in your settings in Word, and then you can actually change it to special hanging indent. That's what a hanging indent does. Okay. Then he shows you in the video that when you're looking at the library page, so you're going to go to the library page of Hill College. I'm going to actually go all the way, where is it? Hill College Library. So if you go to just the Hill College website, somewhere on here, I thought there was a link to the library. Academics, library. So there's the library. Then you can go into the library catalog and go into, he says to go into EBSCOhost, but when I went into EBSCOhost, I couldn't access anything. Now, if you have a user ID that lets you log into EBSCOhost, cool. But what I did find is if you go into databases, then you can log in with your regular Hill College ID. It'll ask you for your Hill College ID and password, and I used that and logged in. And then you can pick the database you want to use. So Academic Search Premier is basically essentially the same as EBSCOhost. So I picked that one. So click Academic Search Complete, and then it brings you here and you can start your search. Like searching for stuff on the internet, and specifically in databases, is kind of an art. So you'll do a thing that makes sense and you won't get any results, and then try something else and you get all the results in the world. So remember, you had the topic was Broadway musical history, and if you type Broadway history and select these things, you only have 2 results, which is not enough to do a paper. But the funny thing is, if you tell the search you don't want the phrase Broadway history, you want the word Broadway and the word history, now you hit search and you have 40 different things. So that's what you do. Then you just go through these 40 different things that talk about Broadway and history and see which of them seem like they would be helpful for you in your research. So if that search works for you, you can use it. You might also see if there are things about Broadway musicals. How the Broadway musical, Wicked, so you could maybe pick different musicals. Black music and musicians in the 19th century, that's another article that talks about Broadway musicals. And over here you can click on the full text to see more of the article, to see all of the article. So like this article alone, that's like a topic that you could focus on, is like black people on Broadway. You could even search that if you wanted, Black Broadway and African American. So there's 22 things that relate to Broadway and address being African American. Okay, so I also noticed a neat thing when I typed in Black's musicals and did the search. The first one that came up I thought sounded kind of interesting, like something you might be interested in, which was Black contemporary social movements and Black musical activism. I was like, oh, that's interesting, Black musical activism. So I wonder if there's more of that, Black musical activism. It's the only one, or just musical activism. That's really interesting. Musical performance as environmental activism. That's actually related to things that you're interested in. I don't know if you're allowed to pick other, like any topic related to music, but what, music and environmentalism. That's another topic. Popular music video, music documentary. So using music for environmentalism, that's kind of interesting. But anyway, if you were just still sticking with like something like activism, you could do that. But I wanted to show you, regardless of what you pick, how to do the thing he showed in the video of putting this in your paper. So you go into the article, and then over here on the right hand side where it says Cite, you click Cite, and it doesn't have APA first, so you have to scroll down a little to APA, and then you just highlight the APA reference, and then you can either hit Control C, which is what I usually do, that copies it, or you can right click and then click Copy, and then go to your Word document and paste it in there, and then hit Enter so you're ready for the next one. And you need to do that for 10 different articles. And remember, these don't have to be perfect articles, Taylor. It's just a start. So at the end, you may find some of the articles you picked aren't really what you wanted to use. That happens all the time. That happened with me in my dissertation. And when people write things, that is normal for college, so don't freak out about it. Just pick things that you think might be good and then move on. For me, it bugs me that this is all caps, so I would change it. But you don't have to. It didn't look like he corrected those things in his, but I would. So back to here. The other thing I wanted to show you was if you, for some reason, can't get into that database, I like to go to Google Scholar. So it's like scholar.google, if I can type, .com. And then you can go there, Google Scholar, you can search it. And then you type in what you're looking for. So I've already been looking at this. So like the history of Broadway musical theater, in Google Scholar, there's a bunch more articles. And the nice thing is, if you want to know if a full text is available in Google Scholar, it's just right over here. So that's a full text because it's a PDF. You click it, and then the article comes up and you can look at it. It's coming up slowly, but it's going to come up eventually. And then you can scroll down and look at the article. This is honestly how I do most of my research. I use Google Scholar for most of it. You just have to make sure you pick things that are academic and like your teacher's thing said. You can tell by who publishes it, like a university published this, so that's academic. And this looks like it is this a whole book or is this an article? I know it's only 11 pages, so it's an article. And then if you go back to Google Scholar, which we have to actually hit the back button, so you can save this with this little arrow that says download. So if you wanted to save the article, you can download it. Then you go back, and right here, to get to where you can copy the citation in APA format, you just click these little quotation marks, highlight it, and then either Control-C or right-click, copy, and then you go back to your document, put it in, right-click it. Oops, I did it wrong. Don't do what I just did. So it's probably easier to just delete this and put your own things there. And remember the format he wants, so copy, then paste. And usually when you already formatted your document, when you paste things into it, so you don't have a whole bunch of different formats, when you paste, you pick this one that means keep text only, and that way you don't copy whatever format they have from where you're copying it, and it sticks with the format you have assigned to your paper. So you do that, and also remember these are supposed to be in alphabetical order by the author's name, so you just, you can put them in alphabetical order at the end, or you can just add them in alphabetical order. So like that doesn't go there because B comes before D. So I just paste it here, and then it's all messed up, so I have to hit enter. So that's on its own line again. Okay.